Is the world gonna have missed your quippy snap?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess technically quippy snaps or snippy quips, they were a little snippy and they were a little quippy, I guess. I'm not really sure. I mean, I thought honestly they were just kind of mean. It wasn't so much they were snippy as they were just mean.
But if it was directed at somebody else,
I suppose.
you would have probably giggled.
I probably would have. But they were not directed at somebody else, they were directed at me.
And that's fair, I suppose. Dude, I really like the, I had a chance to look through the image of downtown, the 3 derelict buildings you did. Yeah, we did last week.
Yeah.
I love the detail that you pulled out of the center building in the black and white.
In the center building in the black and white. Was it the wide shot?
Yeah.
Yeah, we managed to hold quite a bit in that one, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Like,
I do think so.
Much more than was to be expected.
Yeah. It was that image there.
Even the cinder block work on like the left and right hand side, like
Yeah.
the cracks in the cinder blocks,
Yeah.
when zoomed in, like are super resolved.
Not gonna lie, that's absolutely credit to that new lens and the 60 sensor, man. It may be old, but it looks great. So anyway, let's kick this off. So it's another sit down Lightroom session where we're gonna do some editing of some photos that I took last week and over the last few days actually. We're gonna try and do this regular or at least as regularly as we can, and we're gonna sit down at the desk. We're gonna crack something cold to drink, and then we're gonna.
Do you want to talk about that for a sec?
Yeah.
I have
Alberta Genuine Draft, because I have like still 22 of them.
I have an unlabeled, unspecified. Well, actually, it's labeled, but it's unspecified Bancroft Brewing limited edition growler. I don't know if you can.
I do. We can.
The on that.
And what?
We're gonna.
And what is that animal all about?
I don't know. I opened their growler case.
Oh yeah.
And it was sitting on the bottom shelf.
Like you can get it by the case kind of thing.
No. They have what's really popular out here is they'll have coolers full of growlers.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
I have like growlers everywhere.
So you just go in and grab growlers and go.
Yeah.
Like it. I like that a lot actually. That's a great way to do it.
The reusability of the growler. Like I've probably got 7 or 8 growlers that have had one fill.
Nice. You should probably do something about that. I'm just gonna grab
What in the world?
just grabbing a URL and posting that to the socials.
Oh my God, Greg.
Just to let people know we're here. Create post. Ooh, that looks beautiful. I bet you. Pardon me. Is it raspberry? Or is it an amber? Because it looks a little pink.
It's got a weird nose. It is like a sour that didn't sour.
Oh, really?
It's like a shandy.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
It's got alcohol in it, and it's better than water.
That's strictly better than water.
It is as anticlimactic as something that started with "Ooh, limited edition unlabeled" could be.
Nice. That's awesome. That's the way it should be. Yeah, so we're gonna continue on, I guess, this week with a couple of the photos that we had to work on last week. But I mean, we had a huge collection last week. I got really fortunate at having more than the average number of adequate photos on the last trip.
Sometimes that happens.
Yeah, some days you go out and
3 days I've went and shot twice.
Yeah.
And there isn't a single image that made it through the selection.
Yeah, so I think there's a couple of things that we can probably touch on before we start editing for anybody who watches this after the fact, which is probably everybody who's going to be watching it watches it after the fact, because catching it live is tricky. So we do this pretending there are people here, but really we know it's just you watching it after the fact. So one of the truisms of photography is that there is no such thing as somebody who is an expert and can pull out a photo and make a photo every time. The best photographers in the world will go out, spend 3 days traveling, get to a place, take one exposure, maybe take 2 or 3 on different cameras, and then they pack up and go home, and they get their one shot. The difference between a professional and an amateur is the number of photographs you have to take to get one that you think will be pretty good. And so as an amateur and as somebody who's been doing this a long time, I take a lot of photos, and I'm finding that as I go, I'm taking fewer, but have about the same hit rate. It's maybe one per outing that I think I'm happy with, or that I think I'm good with, and I say, I think this was a win to go do this. And that trip to Harry Hill last week just was a complete aberration in the grand scheme of things, because I got 8 photos that I was really personally happy with, that I was happy to put my name on, and it's unusual for me to do that. I'm not a pro. I'm not somebody who gets paid to take pictures. I'm somebody who enjoys the craft and wants to learn more, and that's what this is all about. It's just about learning more as I do it. And for Luke, who's newer to photography but equally interested, he's going to have to go out and shoot 100 photos to get that 4 or 5 that he's comfortable with at his current skill level. And I'm going to have to do the same thing. The difference is I'm maybe starting with a little more experience in the pocket, but otherwise we're doing the same thing. And so this process of doing this editing and this post work, 20 years ago, this was darkroom stuff. This was, processing film and, printing in black and white in your darkroom. And it was just as much time. It just, the output was fewer. There were just not as many photographs. And so there are things that we're doing here that are beneficial to learn from as a photography thing. But they also, we're getting more images out of it, I think, than we could have. So it's a good way to learn, and it's a good way to practice. And so this channel or this video that we've been doing, these live streams, are about, that practice of critical evaluation and can we get something good out of what may seem mediocre? And can we get something mediocre out of something that looks like dog shit? I mean, like
something that looks good after you play with it.
Yeah, I mean, we genuinely had to. There was one image last week, from the grander scheme of images that, frankly,
it was a fine image if you didn't know anything about the place, and there was no context to what was behind the image, if you will.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn off my filter real quick, And I'm going to bring up the original of that particular image from last week. And this is one we did not do on the stream. I want to make that very, very clear. This was not an image that was processed on the stream. It was something that I thought about after. Ooh, hey, ooh, hey, ooh, there we go. It is something that I thought about after the live stream. This image. We had looked at this image together, I don't know, 2 or 3 times, and we kind of were like, it's like, eh.
Yeah, I was.
I was like, eh.
Boring.
Meh. It was okay. It's like, okay, right, it's a barn. It's
It
exposed well,
exactly.
but
it felt like there was just there was nothing behind it, and what you could see was just
an old wooden barn.
yeah.
And so I took some of the stuff that we had done during the live cast and just applied it to see what would happen, and the result became
Me being wrong.
just stunning. Like, it just worked. It was balanced, and the sky had so much drama, and it was beautiful, and the equipment in the window. This was the flour mill in this town. This is the Harry Hill flour mill, and the fact that there's milling equipment still in the window that you can see, and there this original building that had been tacked on with plywood and crap 40 years ago, and it was, sometimes you don't know what you've got until you play with it, and that's what that is kind of the whole point behind what we're doing here, is trying to share some of those images that maybe they're just crap. Maybe we could turn them into something a little more attractive. I don't know.
And really, like, it's still not great.
It's still not great, but
way better than we thought it was going to be.
I mean, I am going to print this one. This one will actually be going up in my living room. I like this image enough, and it speaks enough to me about where I live and the province that we choose to raise our kids in, that I'm going to put it up on the wall.
For the time being.
For the time being, and at some point I'll remove that. So we
had
had
a lovely picture of Ontario.
We had a couple of images last week that we didn't get to. One was Bid's General Supplies. We talked about. I mean, this one screamed to us that there was stuff that could be done, and the more I look at it, I'm not entirely sure. It's gonna have to go black and white, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna have to, but we'll take a look at it. And
I'm afraid that it's gonna reek of Jay and Silent Bob.
Yeah, I don't know if this image has got it going on or not. I think compared to the others, it's gonna be a tough sell. Go away, Drosophila.
I still like it.
I still like it too, because it gives me a giggle. As well, we had this sort of pseudo tenement house. I'm not still 100% on this one either. But it may work, and it may require some Instagram square cropping, and I'm positive actually it's going to need some square cropping. Just don't know. We don't know. And then lastly, this burnt out, smashed and trashed place. I think this is another probably square crop that's going to be black and white, probably with the settings that we used on that mill. To get us at least to get us started.
Paste, crop.
Yeah,
done.
it's going to be to get us started. So I did go out. I picked up a new lens this week. I picked up 17 to 40 millimeter Canon ZF-L, f4L, as I needed to get a little wider, and so I went out and shot a little bit last night down at the Walterdale Bridge in Edmonton, which is our ever over photographed bridge. But it was, it's an easy place to get to, nice and safe place to go and shoot at night. So I decided I'd go down there and just to do a little sort of what's the word when you want to go I had to go break it in. It was a break-in trip. It was a shakedown, I guess, if you will. It was a shakedown trip. I wanted to sort of figure out what I needed to know about this glass. And so got a couple of pictures that are okay. I already did the HDR merge on them. We can go over that in the future if somebody wants to know how, but I already did the
we
HDR
covered
merge.
that in the previous video.
Yeah, and so I got a couple of shots at Walterdale. I've done, like I said, done the HDR. So these are just time to do some, editing on them and see if they can.
And if you can't see why you would do HDR, this photo is a really good example. Those rocks in that bridge should not look like that.
Yeah, these rocks would be so dark. There's no possible way you should be able to see them with the lit portion of the bridge properly exposed. Like it's just.
Dude,
not,
I think
it's like 16.
I think this photo's got some potential, man. We can make an epic sky and some green grass, and
yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It's actually gravel path, so no.
Oh yeah,
green won't work. But yeah. So there's that one. This is another one. There's an artifact from the HDR process that I hadn't noticed in this image. In the top left corner.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, where something got weird and funky. So I don't know what we'll do with this yet. Maybe it's trash.
Did you run the HDR again?
No, not yet. I can do that. But maybe it's trash. Maybe it's not. Let me go back into the images from Walt. I think it was these three. Yeah, see, there's nothing in those three images that would make that weird thing happen. So why don't I get rid of that image? Let's get rid of it and delete it altogether, because that DNG is clearly broken. I'm gonna just hit delete it from the disk. So this is, so for those who missed the first time, right click,
you end up seeing it anyway.
Photo merge, HDR, and then it's just see if it's an alignment problem. Maybe it was a it might have been an issue. I'm going to push the deghost back to high and see. That's what it is. See where the mask cuts off up there?
Yep.
It was the arc of the mask. So I'm going to take that deghosting down to 0. There was not a lot of movement in this image. Even let's see what low does. I think low will probably just go over the really, really egregious stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So some really subtle. But I'm worried that those arcs of light in there are going to show up.
Wow.
I'm going to go none, because I don't think any of that ghosting is stuff that we can not deal with. So let's just go with it and merge this, and we'll migrate this one back into our working set when it comes up here. 1 of 3, 2 of 3, 3 of 3, and there is the stack, and we're going to pull this image back into the live edits collection. Actually, I found you could drop it into a separate collection, and then these are the ones we are working on, and whatever work we do will actually be in the image folders. So it makes it easier to sort of isolate what we're working on the stream.
Right on.
So that's that one. So I had a couple from down below. I went up on the bridge and tried to smash a couple with some traffic. You say, but it might surprise you when we start playing with it. This one's. So I think that one's going to go. The last of the bunch.
Now you're talking.
Yeah, there's a lot of flariness up in the top corner. So
yeah, you can throw a Peter McKinnon LUT on that and it'll be fine.
So as I said, part of this, just getting a new lens is a shakedown. You want to see how it works and what it does well and what it does poorly. So I picked it up and put it on the camera today, and I decided to get a few more down in the local valley, in our creek valley in where I live, and I discovered a problem with the lens. Not a problem with the lens, but a problem with a stupid user trick. And that is that The lens hood does not actually fit this lens, even though it comes with this lens.
Greg, you are just pumping to get a picture of this area, eh?
Yeah, I really am.
For you guys watching, this is maybe the third time that Greg and I have sat over an image of this exact. Like, there's this, it's all different angles. He's trying to say something.
Yeah.
With this little notch in the river.
Yeah, yeah, and unfortunately, you can see at the top and bottom of frame, you can see the arc of the pedal from the lens hood.
Yeah.
Clipping in.
Solvable.
Now, at f4, it's not visible, but these were all shot at f14, f16, f11, and you can see it. So we're going to have to crop them. So this is one of the images from today. Another image from today might be a little too busy, but with some color work, it might be interesting.
Yeah, it could be good.
Yeah. The
good
lens,
clarity, good focus.
The glass is great. Like, first and foremost, the glass is solid. I got no complaints with the glass. I mean, like, it's sharp. It's just sharp. I mean, this is as pixel peepy as you can get on this image.
Is that poison ivy?
No. This? No.
No. Okay.
No. I was clawing all over it, so if it was, no. We don't really have poison ivy here. I think this might be the image of the day to work with. This is my guess. Sharpness is reasonably solid throughout. Got a little noisy, but not bad. I think this is going to be the one we can sort of work on. Again, this another one that it was an attempt, but it's just kind of I mean, the truth is, unless you're shooting, you can't complain with the results. So complaining about the results is positive, not negative. And this image, and this is another one that I think might work square crop with some love.
It's going to depend on what's going on in the sky.
Well,
it looks like there's some stuff there.
There's some room up in that histogram, right?
Yeah.
There is some space. So there might be some stuff. So I don't think we're going to edit all of them. I know we're not going to edit all of them. We're not going to be here for 4 hours tonight. But we're going to pick and choose a couple because I need to get some into the Instagram feed this week. So I want to get a few of these done and out the door and be reasonably happy. But so shakedown successful. Figured out what I can't do with my lens hood. And found out that the lens is sharp. It's doing its job, and I'm able to get sharp images out of it. So that's a good thing. I'm happy with that. So I guess let's probably start back at Bids General Supplies. Now, should we take the black and white set of adjustments we did for the liquor store and apply them here first?
Yeah. And
see where we go with that? Like, I think that's
my problem with this image is I know that the trees are gonna tolerate very little manipulation.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna grab the develop settings and copy them. And I'm going to grab the treatment. I'm going to grab the basic toning, white balances, and curves and stuff that we used. Obviously, none of the dust removal and spot removal and stuff are appropriate to bring here. Lens corrections, I'm not going to bring those because it's a different lens for... Oh, no, it is the same, so I can use the same corrections. So I'll copy those from there. And then let's go back over to these live edits, and then let's push these in here. Develop settings, paste. Okay, so we knew that was going to be a problem right off the bat. Exposure is totally different, so that's okay. So that means we need to squash some of these blacks back down a bit, and we need to get these midtones shifted into a little more useful place. Highlights.
Just zoom in on the trees, Greg.
Highlights can come down, and those can come down, and then we can get into the trees. There's that deghosting, edge sharpening stuff that's
Greg,
coming to bite us.
Before we put any time into this photo,
Yeah.
it's done. It's done.
I just want to see if I can get that evilness out of there. And I'm guessing I won't be able to be very honest.
I will buy you a beer if you can make that not look like hot crap.
Yeah, I don't think it's possible. Yeah, I don't think the image is there, man. I think this...
Yeah. We were stoked on this image last week, but nothing's going to come of it. Sorry.
Child. No apology.
Yeah, dude. I think we were stoked on this image.
Yeah, I
think it's garbage.
Yeah, I'm not happy with it. I don't think there's enough here to do stuff with.
I agree.
So I'm just gonna remove it. It's binned. I want to look at this guy.
I want to look at the one that you just closed.
What? The one we just closed? This one?
That one.
You've got a kind of a sort of a mini boner for this image.
Oh, there's nothing mini about my boners. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there. Now the question is the temperature. What do you want to do? You want to make it midday in
yeah,
Tuscaloosa? And then I know you want that sky.
Yeah.
I know you want that sky saturated.
Yep.
Yep. Do you want it more blue? No, it just pushes it purple.
Yeah. Teal.
Yeah. Do we want these greens pulled up or pulled back?
Pulled back.
Yeah, I think.
Pull them back and make them less nuclear.
That takes a little of that redness out. Now, we haven't done really anything curve-wise at all. I mean, I got room to give us...
There's a lot of room in the sky.
Give us a little bit of contrast to work with here. I don't want to lose that black point at all, but... the sky we can get... Oh, now, if we work with the Chris Cone... Hey! Holy smokes! I didn't even realize there was somebody in the chat. Luke, did you see who popped into the chat?
No, I did not see who's in the chat. Who's in the chat?
That's
Holy smokes.
That's my dad.
I know that guy's name.
My dad's in the chat. A bit of cropping on... I don't know if he's still there. I hope he still is. And he's talking about this image. Or no, not that image. He's talking about this image. And yeah, we're going to do some stuff in there. There might be some 1:1 in there. We might might go 4:5. That'll be an interesting decision. I haven't figured that out. But I want to get this one another step or two. Now, is color going to work with this, Luke?
Like,
I mean, we could definitely...
If it's gonna be color, it has to say something about 1975. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, we can sort of smooth out that sky a bit using the Chris Cohen trick of sort of declaritying the thing to pieces, right? We can smooth that right out. Is it worth it? Like, again, this is another one of those images that I'm just like, I don't know, man.
Trees piss me off in HDR.
I don't know if this has got the same kind of crispy crunchy sharpness that the other one did.
Can you back up and just like Instagram crop the house?
Just the house?
Some sky. Yeah, wait. Pull there.
Like
now go right to the top bar.
And just pull this?
Yeah, get the fire hydrant.
Oh, you want the fire hydrant? Ugh.
Yeah.
I'm okay with
I don't want the tree. I just want the image moved right. I want to see the corner. I want to see the corner of the sidewalk.
I don't know. I mean, even if we get to,
It's not what I wanted.
it's better as a black
Pull the
and
blues
white.
to black.
Well, the blue.
HSL.
Oh, in the HSL. Yeah, we can do some of that.
Ooh.
It's not bad. We gotta get rid of that building. That building is just blazing.
Yeah.
In the background here. I mean, it's an easy thing to do. So why don't we just stop talking about it and do it? And then we just take the exposure down on that building a bit so that it's not quite so in your face. And then maybe just...
And welcome to the power of Lightroom, boys and girls.
Yeah, this is what Lightroom is for. This absolutely. And I think this building now can be brightened up a bit too.
I agree.
So maybe let's take a... Oh.
Just do it rough, just to see it.
Let's undo that and let's add a new mask, not an old mask. We want a new mask. And we want a new...
Just do it rough so we can see it, yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to go too crazy. Just want to get in and make sure that we've got the... sort of the core of the building there covered. Yeah, it doesn't need a lot. I don't want to go too far.
Because the corner of the front door will blow out.
Yeah, I wonder if we need to do that in the shadows here a bit too. Get some of that, just that little bit on the steps to lighten up those shaded spaces. That's not terrible, man. It's not terrible. I think it's done.
That is Instagram worthy.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a good way to do it. A good way to approach it, anyway. So I want to take just looking at this. Let's do a real quick. Yeah.
Yep.
Let's take this one and let's reset it, and then put that there. So there's the reference photo. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a pretty significant difference in the images in terms of what they're saying. I'm pretty content with the second one.
Yeah, like I could tweak on it some more, but
again, it's when we talked about this last week. It's like, how far do you take it? And I think you're right. There is a point where you just have to say, "Yep, we're good. We're here. This is that point that we need to be at. No further."
yeah,
so
this is the 85% that we were looking for out of this image.
Yeah. Now I'm going to, just for sake of McArgument here, I'm going to right click and grab the settings for this, because I think they'll apply really well to the next one as well. Why can't I find my my details here. Oh, what am I doing? I'm losing my brain. Well, I'm looking for the develop settings and I can't find them on my right click anymore. Oh, it's because I'm still in the mask.
There you go.
Let's get out of the mask. Right click, develop settings, and I was clicking in the wrong place because I'm an idiot. Let's copy those settings. All right, now this one, I hoped that we could get more out of this because it was a little, it's a little sharper.
Okay, so this is.
But there's a lot more color.
The image that I didn't have as much hope for.
I gotta do this first. I gotta do this copy. I gotta do a copy first.
Greg, I'm telling you, HDR trees piss me off.
Well, they do. It's not the HDR. Like the trees are fine in this image. This is an HDR. It's just when you start working with ghosted stuff that it's problematic.
Yeah.
Right? And so if we can avoid the ghosting, then we can make it work. So that's going to be the question: is can we make the preset do what we want?
On the bottom bar. Yep. Exactly. Bring the exposure down and see what it looks like.
Like it's good in the building. This one needs to be vignetted like hard.
Mm-hmm. Throw the lens correction on it. Oh, it's already on it. Never mind.
So if we do that,
the building to the right. Can you throw a mask over that and bring it down a little bit?
you betcha. Let's just straighten that building up a bit too. Or not. I can't tell what's I think we're gonna have another one of those situations where there's nothing.
It was better before, Greg.
Yeah, where there's nothing straight.
There.
Yeah. Yeah, where there's nothing straight in the image. I want to get the building itself. Let's get the sky and the tree and everything acceptable. And then, yeah, let's bring down this building to the left here. Is clearly needing to come down. So let's get it down to like that, and then I'll fix the mask. Because that was a sloppy-ass mask job.
It's still too bright, but...
Well, let's stop it, Windows. That's what I was looking for. Thank you. There, let's just... Now that the mask is a little cleaner, though, I can pull it down a little more.
Pull the whites down.
And it's not so in your face. Right?
Well, you're going to crop most of it out anyways. Throw the Instagram crop on it.
Yeah, I think it's got to be 1-to-1 as well.
That makes it look better.
Yeah, we need to...
Now you're going to have to turn some of the vignette down.
Yep, because that vignette's now all over it. It's punching it in the beak now. Okay, so now I think we can actually mask in and lighten the building itself.
Yeah.
To get some of that sort of crunchy detail out of it. Let's push this mask around. I need to have my overlay. I can never do it without my overlays. Makes life so much easier. I'm going to take it right to the top here. Bring it down. Yeah. we might be able to get something a little more characterful out of it.
The line that Greg is doing is shift click. You set a point, hold shift, click another point, and it draws a straight line between the two clicked points. Just in case you were wondering.
It's a super effective way to cheat fills so that your lines are nice and square.
Also works in Photoshop, Illustrator.
Yeah. Yeah. The whole gamut.
The darkness. Like the grunt, yeah. Do the top of the building too, Greg. Yeah, you're on it.
Yeah, and that is part of that natural darkening of the material because it's just been beaten to death over the years. You take that.
What do you think about a linear in the sky?
Just to bring the top down a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
it'll offset it, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think it probably will.
Without bringing the building up too much, you can bring behind it down.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think we can just sort of.
Yeah, you can pull it down further. Yeah.
I haven't completely wrapped my brain around how to use these linears yet, because they don't always seem to work for me. That brings it down in. That makes it work a little bit. It just seems busy. It just feels busy to me. Not in
I think the tree on the left side of the image is ruining the whole picture for me.
It's just so, it's all over the place.
Can you spot correction that off the pillar?
Where it's kind of interfering a little bit?
Yeah.
I don't think I can without it being noticeable. But let's try.
Give it a shot and delete it if it doesn't work.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess it's not gonna work. Because it's gonna be looking for, like it's just, there's too much going on, right? Yeah, I don't think that one. I think we can get rid of. That one we can get rid of. Let's just do this. See if it'll. Oh, that's not the worst it could possibly be.
It's working.
It's questionable. I mean, content-aware fill tries, but I don't think it's gonna do the job, man. I think there's just too much.
We're filling it with the shadow of the thing that we're deleting.
Yeah, and so it just doesn't work. I don't think it's. Yeah, I don't think this is a way to go. I think
Control Z, bud.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's. Sometimes you just leave it there.
Yeah. Which is a shame.
You can't hear my GPU fans at the moment. I'm working on high-res images.
I'm upset that nature won't bend itself to my will.
Yeah, sorry. Don't know what to do about that. I mean, there's such beautiful detail in the wood and in the windows. Just wish there was more in here that we could pull out, but it's gonna look wrong. Like I can get in here and
if that's the picture that we should be working on.
Well, no, but you know what's going to happen? I'm going to increase the exposure, and now we're going to see the person who lives there staring at me from the shadows.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's nothing inside that. Yeah, there's nothing in there that really has any value at all. Although apparently there's a window in there. You can see in the window. You can see the shadow on the wall. But yeah, it's not going to work.
Greg, you know what?
Done.
I'm feeling like some nature photography.
Yeah. These are challenging. I mean, like I said, I don't hate the image. I don't hate it. I think it's certainly still, it's got Instagram value.
Not really.
I think it does. Like in Alberta, it does. Like this is something people here look at. But that's
Done.
it. That's it. Done. That's done.
All right.
I'm going to move that up into there. And I'm going to move this one up into there. All right. Do we do some nature or some bridge? Let's do some nature.
Well, the bridges.
So.
I don't want to work on this picture or that one. That's the one I want to work on.
Yeah, I think I agree. This is the one I'm kind of keen to look at a bit too. I don't know what we're going to get out of it. I just don't know yet.
Let's resist the urge to just smash black and white.
Yeah, it's such an easy out, right? Like, and that's why it's an easy out to just hit the black and white key. I would like to, I want to bring those whites down even more if I can, but nope, I can't. There's just nothing to pull down. So let's look crop, because we know we have to crop it no matter what. We have to crop it because we've got that lens shade peeking at the top and the bottom. So that's gone. Now,
okay, you got to fix the lens distortion at the bottom.
It's a 17 millimeter lens, dude. There's only so much. There's only so much that can be done. Now, these rocks down here. What do we want to do? So, looking at the image, there's a couple things. The sky detail is totally missing right now. Like there's just no sky. Now, dehazing will give us more contrast. It'll give us more punch, but it's not going to bring down that sky at all.
What's this picture of, Greg?
It's the foreground, so I'm okay with letting that sky just be white in the background. It's about these rocks,
sort of
right?
Let it melt.
Yeah, it's about these rocks. So that to me that's where we got to focus.
Exactly.
Right?
Let's do something with the rocks, and then we can support it with the other stuff if it needs it.
Yeah. So we can. Ooh, look at those oranges, man.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of
the calibration.
Yeah, we don't want nuclear green in those trees by any stretch. I wonder if we can. Okay, right. We need to do that thing that we talked about, where we grab the saturation of that one color and just subtle it down a bit, because it's too vibrant. That makes it better. You think? I think.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the oranges in the leaves, is that something we want to pump?
I think we should maybe bring up the blues and the grays in the rocks. Let's give something to the rocks to pop them out a little bit.
Okay, now how are we going to do that if they're not there? Let me just see if we've got... Is there any blue in those rocks? There really isn't any blue in them. But we can. Oh, but we can. We can get in and isolate them with a mask. Doesn't have to be all of them. Maybe it does, but if we're subtle, probably doesn't have to be all of them. But we can cool these down a bit. Right? Because I think that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Right? It's just cooling down some of these rocks that are right now like a little hot. Or a little too warm, rather. But I mean, some of them are red, so I mean, we don't want to. Let's just see. Let's just see now.
Yeah. Let's play with that.
If we cool these down just a tad, what does it do for us?
Ooh.
Ooh. Oh, now that's interesting, eh?
Yeah.
Like, it gives us some more colors to work with in here. Oh, that's an interesting approach. Like, photographically speaking, this starts to edge onto sort of dangerous territory a little bit from an editorial perspective.
Why?
Well, because
I hate this argument.
I know, but I'm just saying that's it. It is a place where people tend to end up picking a side. I'm not picking a side. I don't care. Right? To me, I saw color in these rocks. I couldn't tell you which ones were more blue and which ones were less blue at this moment, but I know that some of them were cooler than others. And so I don't mind going in and, because the whole scene wasn't just orange, right? It wasn't just completely fall orange. There was more color than that. What a neat way to sort of give yourself a little bit of an out, though. And even if it's not totally blue. I'm going to do the vignette now. I'm going to turn off the adjustment brush first. And let's take that, give it a little post crop. Okay, now that's interesting.
Now, let's deal with the the right bank behind it. That area.
Yeah, what are you thinking in there? I don't mind it.
Well, we need... It's just cuckapoo-poo right now. It's just poo soup.
We can desat it a little bit, maybe.
Maybe go the other way, Greg.
What, pump it up?
Maybe grab that yellow. Like, we pulled the green down, maybe grab that yellow and titch it up a little bit.
Well, what if...
Just the yellow.
Yeah, but let's do it on both banks. And let's not be afraid to try and capture some of that yellow that's right along the water here and in between these stones. Because we're not going to be cranking up the vibrance of, the rocks and stuff.
Nothing's going to the moon.
Yeah, so that's an awfully good question. Can I do fancy HSL stuff on a single color? Let's just see. Let's grab this yellow here. Okay. I need to be able
That's better.
I need to be able to see the tool. I couldn't even see the adjustment I was doing. There we go. I think part of it too is the issue is not just color but luminance on those elements. They needed to pop more, which they have now done.
Yeah, the bank is much nicer. What if we played with the shadow underneath it, create a little bit of depth between the bank and the water? That brown line, that strip of brown,
right in here.
Yeah.
Darken it.
Yeah, like subtly.
Yeah, can do.
Give it a little bit of height. You know what I mean? No, too much.
Too much or not soft enough?
Can you zoom in to by the rock where it's the closest narrowest part of the water? Yeah, it could be softer. It might still be a bit much, but soften it and see what it looks like.
So to do that, I'm just going to have to... I need to take that, delete it,
Just delete it.
and then redo it. Yeah, that's not as bad.
Yeah. And that does give the bank some depth. Maybe right in the center of the image, just to the left, that brown as well. Because that's the same valley that we're creating, right?
Sorry, which side? In here?
The left above the rocks, that little brown...
Oh, up in here? Well, you won't...
Maybe
yeah, maybe a touch. You can... Yeah, that helps with a little depth.
I think the rocks are too blue now.
Too blue or too bright? Might be too
bright.
blue. Might be too bright. Might be too blue. What if we warm them up a little?
Okay, can you click off the mask so there's both dots everywhere? And I'm just going to throw it up over on the other screen so I can see it in HD.
It's not bad. I think it's still... It's not quite as much structure here as I'd like. I don't hate it, but I don't think it's stunning.
Do you not like it because of the mishmash of trees in the back?
Yeah, that's got a lot to do with it.
What can we do there? Oh, Instagram crop. That's what we could do there.
Well, I don't mind. I mean, it doesn't have to be an Insta crop, but this might really work well with a 4:5 crop. Yeah, it kind of does work better with a 4:5 crop.
It does, doesn't it?
Now I'm wondering, kind of overall, does it need to be a little more blue?
Why don't we address the water? Ooh, I like that change, Greg.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm thinking.
I like that.
Right? And that's just pulling some of that extra warmth out. Overall, not just in the rocks, but globally. I think there was a little bit much. Now, a little dehaze gives us back some of that depth. Little clarity gives us some of that crunch. A little texture. I think we need less texture, actually. A little less clarity. Okay, I like the lens, man.
Yeah.
Like pixel peeping, I like the lens a lot.
Can I see a before and after?
Definitely prefer the after.
Yeah.
Definitely prefer the after.
Painting the individual rocks has made this image.
Isn't that a neat trick?
Mm-hmm.
Just to help, because reflectivity is at play. I mean, these rocks. I know they weren't there to begin with, because this is a heavily reinforced stream, right? This is it's as much as anything, this is a drainage stream in the city. It just happens to be based in an old creek bed. But this is one of the few places where you're not literally tripping over bank reinforcements and rebar in the creek to keep it from caving in all the time.
So what are we missing in the right image that's in the left image?
I think it's that orange. I think this, now that we've brought the tone down, we got to get these oranges and yellows back up.
Yeah.
Because I do think they're missing.
But we need to be extremely subtle about it.
Yeah. Because otherwise we sort of undo the effort that we put in already. I mean, we've already... Yeah, I don't want to dick with the hue at all. We've got to hit it on the HSL side. And I think we got to be a little more judicious about which color we're going to amplify. Now, is it a saturation issue or is it a luminance issue? Oh my. That was where we were.
Yep.
That's kind of that action, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Oh, that's super interesting. That's super interesting. Now, what we can also do, and this is another trick I saw that I thought was really cool. Let's now take one more mask. We're going to embiggen this mask, and we're going to cover this mask sort of around this upper edge. Not anywhere else. It's just up there. Yeah?
Yeah.
And then we're going to take the clarity and pull it back. And then we'll take a little bit of the saturation up out of there too.
Digital bokeh.
And that gives us just that little bit of sort of ethereal softness that might help take some of the crazy away. And then let's throw...
Chip it.
Yeah, I'm just going to throw just a touch more of that. I think that's it. I think that's it.
Too much vignette.
Huh?
Too much vignette.
You think?
You went too far. Yeah.
Think?
Yeah, you're taking away from the bottom.
These...
The rocks at the bottom, I think.
Well, I mean, I can
Like
bring
if
them...
you split the difference. Right there.
I mean, these ones can also... We can also give these ones some proper attention, because we didn't actually give these ones any attention.
But dude, I think that is right.
Just for sake of argument. Yeah, there was some balance missing there, dude. I think that's the money.
Print it.
Yeah, I think that's the one.
Good.
All
You
right.
finally got a picture out of that.
Finally got a picture
area,
out of
Greg.
that damn creek. Let's take a look at the. Let's take a look at this one. Well, I haven't actually done anything to the image yet. I don't know why it's saying I have. Develop, reset. There we go.
Let's go to the other bridge one.
You want to try this one first? Take a look at this.
Let's start close and move far, Greg.
Okay, so define close. What do you want to work on? I think this whole foreground section needs to be darker.
Yeah, I think the whole foreground section needs to. A lot of it needs to be gone.
Or something, but it's lit. Like, that's just it. Like, it's lit though, and I don't mean lit like a cool kid kind of lit. I mean, it is genuinely lit up. But I agree. I think it needs to be. It's going to reduce my feather a bit here.
What's the image about?
It's about the bridge for sure.
So let's pull the rocks closest to us out. Yep. Dude, you're painting it. I would just use a linear.
They don't have the same control, and then you get over, and they're too subtle. It's too subtle. It's easier to just run a simple mask across that.
Dude, that lens is awesome.
It's really nice. It's solid.
Look at the star in the back.
That's Mars right there.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, that's Mars. But just to speak to that, those are stars up there. That one's
You mean hot pixels
No.
that we're gonna call stars?
No, this one's a hot pixel. These are stars. Look at the angle of the rotation. Whoops. This photo is nearly it's taken northeast. Right? So if you go over here, look at the shape. Those are stars. So I was able to actually resolve stars. Okay, Mars. Bye-bye. Mars didn't work. It's gone. Yeah, no, it was absolutely able to resolve.
What is that?
What's what?
That was Mars?
The weird circly dot thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, once you start dicking with shadows and bringing down highlights and stuff, yeah, it falls outside the window, and things go haywire. When you,
Greg, I'm almost done with this photo. It looks wicked.
yeah, I'm not unhappy with it. It's unless we choose to just simply like nuke some of that foreground altogether.
That's good too. Crop out the city on the left. Crop out that blue building.
Yeah, I could get behind that choice. Yeah, I can get behind that choice. Ship it.
It's done. It's done.
Now, this one is interesting. Similar problem in the highlights. We got a lot of big highlights, real flat in the mid-tone area. Not terrible, but it's there. These rocks either have something has to happen to them. Like I think the overall color temperature is that's
my
natural.
main problem with this image isn't the rocks; it's that you can't like the bridge isn't anchored to the ground for me.
Yeah, this side's all floating in midair.
I know that you shot this on a 10mm lens or 17mm lens, but you needed some more angle.
Does it help? No, it doesn't. I was like, nope, that doesn't work. Let's just see.
Yeah. Right now, it's kind of Tron for me.
Yeah, it definitely has that. Whoa, that's pretty crazy.
Again.
Yeah,
is there a point where you realize that you're reaching?
Is there a point?